Everyone, it's Sean from STK tonight. I was just having a chat with the CEO, MD of Pursuit Minerals, getting a really good update, and I thought I've got to share this with everyone. As you know, we've been supporting Pursuit for the last 12 to 18 months. Steve Late, who's one of the directors for EQR, brought it to us. It's a fantastic opportunity, and a lot's happening at the moment. Aaron, thanks for giving us your time, and good to see you.
Likewise, Sean. Good to see you as well.
Well, one of the many questions I get on Pursuit is that does it need any money at the moment? And the answer is no. If you want shares, you've got to buy them on market. But Aaron, there's a lot happening. We've got two projects, a lithium. We're getting to the pointy end of making that a mine. And that's one thing that STK, we like doing. You saw us with Agros. Southern Cross is getting their EQs in production. This will be a company that generates revenue, it looks like at this stage. Aaron's got a great track record and the lithium's looking fantastic. And we've still got the gold to talk to. So Aaron, let's focus on the lithium. Good to see
Yeah,
you.
likewise. And the lithium is exactly that. We're making some significant progress. Obviously, the announcement with DDH3 at Mito, we've started our first brine recoveries from the Packer samples. We're down at about 300 meters now. We're expecting some very good brine to come out through the 400 to 600 meter intercepts. So we've really done well there to prove the geophysical model with our first drilling that's coming through. And we're expecting some significant impacts on our resource, but not only from DDH3, but DDH4, which is planned at the Damasia tenement, which is the new ground we recently picked up from REMSA. So it's quite a significant horizon that we'll be drilling, which can expand the resource significantly as we progress forward. That resource expansion target comes in tandem with the PFS addendums and upgrades, where we're looking at the larger output scenarios and looking also to lithium chloride route. So as you mentioned, we focused on something very tangible, something realistic for a junior company to finance that we can bring to market. And we've had a very positive reception with that, the CapEx numbers, firstly from the lithium carbonate PFS that we released earlier this year, but also as we've shared some of the lithium chloride scenarios with various offtake partners, we've had some very good reception, especially around the lithium chloride. It's very much in demand in Asia at the moment. You have a lot of Asian OEMs across China, Japan, Korea, that are working and looking for the lithium chloride as they have a lot of that upstream processing capabilities. So lithium chloride is also a little bit cheaper in terms of capex and opex, and we've seen that with Galan lithium too, which is about 150k to our west, Hombre Muerto. So the Rio Grande Sur project is really shaping up, attracting a lot of interest as it's bringing a meaningful amount of supply into a rising market, so to speak. We've seen lithium go from a surplus to deficit over the last 12 months. The prices are reflecting that now above 20,000 per ton, and the forecasts are pushing those prices higher. We're in for a good couple of years in terms of price action. There could be another price spike. With lithium being very cyclical, with mines coming in and out of the market, the one thing that's constant is the growing demand. So Pursuit's very well positioned to take advantage of that.
One of the ironic things about the Iran USA, it's put a massive demand on electric vehicles. But notwithstanding that, we already had the price of lithium going up. But Aaron, you've got drill results pending. You've got a PFS you've just alluded to, updating to a more, I guess, robust in terms of numbers, a bigger plant or bigger throughput. In terms of getting it funded, though, how are those conversations progressing? I know you've been overseas. I know you've met with certain jurisdictions, companies in certain jurisdictions that are multi-billion dollar businesses. Are we getting close to looking at offtakes, including funding, that won't be seriously dilutive to you as a major shareholder and me? Will it be more debt-driven as opposed to equity?
Yeah, so this is something that we're very fortunate to have a very well competent board that's got experience in these scenarios. So the transaction structure that we're envisaging is completely non-dilutive. We're following well-trodden pathways that have had success in the market. So any equity would come from at asset level, which was the pathway that Orocobre, which is now part of the Rio Tinto group, that's what they took when they brought Olaroz to market. For us, there'd be no dilution at Topco, which is significant. and a lot of this is debt funded. And we specifically geared the PFS when we brought that out to show the ability of the project to handle the debt, the repayment, looking at how it would be able to pay back, any debt that was brought on. So we are in those discussions, and we're working with various offtake partners where we have some very good, propositions coming across and some very good, meaningful discussions that are hopefully going to end in a majority debt transaction where any equity is at asset co, which again is non-dilutive to Pursued shareholders, which is something that we're very excited about being able to looking to conclude.
What do you think the timing of this is, Aaron?
We're looking to have this done this year, and frankly, Q3 for us will be a big quarter. We have a lot of those discussions now where we're getting down to the pointy end of the negotiations where OEMs, offtake partners, they're getting very specific about the type of lithium they want, how they're envisaging their funding structures, and how we can start looking to commence production. The one constant through all of these discussions is that lithium is needed. A lot of these offtake partners don't know where the next supply is coming from. Whilst there are mature mines, there isn't the excess capacity, and these projects take a lot longer to ramp up than maybe they first expect. So for us, we're looking, there'll be something hopefully on our desk that we can share with investors and shareholders throughout the back end of this year.
Just touching on that time frame, I've had long conversations with you about this. The company made an investment quite some time ago, which has gone exceptionally well. You've got around $4.5 million worth of equity of a listed security on the FTSE, which has been a rare earths play, which has performed amazingly. You've just paid for the drilling for this lithium drilling you've got now. You've still got about $2.7 million in the bank, approximately, which can fund the next phase of drilling. And then you've got that big equity. So you don't need to tap the market before you get this potentially value accretive point of a potential funding partner for the lithium project and drill results.
Absolutely, and we're very well positioned to capitalize on the balance sheet. We do have that equity listed on the standard exchange of the London Stock Exchange. That company in itself is also looking to release drill results and a maiden JORC resource for its rare earth project, which hopefully will appreciate those shares even higher. So, as we work towards our milestones towards the end of the year, we still have the sufficient capital, to execute on our plan, and that also includes the gold, drilling our first holes at Sasha Marcelina, testing that silica cap, and we've been doing some of the exploration, geophysics, and field mapping in the background. It is a very frosty winter in Argentina at the moment, and unfortunately we can't beat Mother Nature, but as soon as we're able to, we'll be drilling that as well. So we're well funded, we have the ability to execute, and everything is in place to execute on our plan towards the end of this year.
That's excellent. With the company, Aaron, you've had it for quite some time, but there was also some legacy issues, and I believe some of those shareholders have been selling off recently from the past, and they're just about done. So the reality is you've reset this register, which is something that we needed to do when we came on. So the company's poised, particularly with the tax 30 selling that's just come through, you're poised to take advantage now of these positive movements, and your share price can run quite nicely because that overhang, which we did allude to previously, has gone.
Yeah, that's correct, Sean. I mean, if you look at Pursuit, it has been around for nearly 12 years. We came into the company, firstly, Tom Edie and myself, we came in around the end of 22, 23. So we've only been with Pursuit for 3 years. However, the company's got a decade of other assets, other shareholders, other capital raisers before we came in. So, looking at the movements, June 30, we have seen a lot of the shareholders who came in on previous assets or, were involved in previous capital raises. We've seen a lot of those holders exit their positions towards the end of June 30 and have continued to do so over the January period. And as you said, a lot of those holders have now minimized and sold out majority of their positions. We still are seeing the supportive shareholders increase their positions as well on the other side, the people who are buying them. So the board's very familiar with the register. We're seeing more consolidation of the stock, which again positions us nicely. We're not doing a capital raise anytime soon. There is only a very small amount of free float on the market. And we have a very strong pipeline of news flow, some significant news flow across both the lithium and the gold projects. So hopefully these can cause catalysts that will re-rate the stock in the market as we continue to get eyes on Pursuit, continue to get well known, continue to get exposure at conferences both locally and internationally, continue to market the company as the new lithium story. And we're getting that attraction, and we're getting that attention, which is well deserved given the credibility of the Rio Grande Sur project and also the Sasha Marcelina gold project.
And it's not lost to me that you've been here before, you've done this before. That's why we liked you when we met you. You're very competent, you're knowledgeable, and you've got this because you've done it again. This is just a rinse and repeat, like Mike's doing with Hannon. He's gone to Sweden. You're just doing a new deal here, and it takes a few years to get going, but this is your third year into it. You've already got the PFS, you've got offtake discussions, you've got drilling to expand the project. This is a very exciting time to be in Pursuit. And at STK, with my own personal money, we like being patient, letting you execute, and we're company makers. Like we've restructured Agros, we want to see Pursuit get to that revenue target, and it's certainly on track to do that. So it's been enjoyable watching the growth of Pursuit as it's moved towards the next levels, Aaron. And I think we're at the exciting part where we should see some really good value accretion over the coming months. I'm hopeful that it's in this quarter or toward the end of this quarter or beginning of next quarter. So I don't think it's going to be far away if you can bed those contracts down. And I know you're overseas talking to them. So yeah, very exciting time for Pursuit. And I know you've got a very decent following of people that have been buying shares that we've met through you, and they're very keen to buy more. So there is that support underlying in the market, which
Absolutely.
is fantastic.
And the key thing for us now is, as you alluded to, we waited out the lithium winter. The lithium winter is definitely coming to a strong end. And we're seeing that in the price action now, where for us, from the lithium side, we're seeing a good 3 years now of demand driven action here, and that will bring with it M&A, it will bring with it offtake agreements, it will bring with it the market that we saw similar to 2020 to 2023, where a lot of these companies hit multi-billion-dollar valuations off the back of some of the announcements that we have in the pipeline. So we're very excited on the lithium side, but also on the gold. Gold is always a hedge on monetary disorder, and obviously with the macroeconomic conflicts we're seeing around the world, whilst the price has softened slightly, the long-term fundamentals of gold with continued central bank buying are still there. So we're very excited to get into that Sasha Marcelina project and start the drilling in September. It's looking very, very favorable from our perspective. So we have a lot coming, and we're excited to take everyone on the journey with us.
I think it's going to be a very, very good run into Christmas, Aaron. It's not long. I remember when I was a kid, Christmas used to take forever, but it feels like a blink and there's another Christmas around the corner. So thanks so much for your time, Aaron. We'll definitely touch base in the coming weeks when we see those drill results, when we see the update of PFS. That's just around the corner. Then that's alluding to the potential offtake funding partners and gold drilling results. There's a lot there that's substantial. These aren't just little announcements. These are company making on the path to revenue. So really good to see you, Aaron. I'm looking forward to watching your share price and you continuing to execute like you've done in the past.
Thanks, Sean. Likewise.